For years, one feature dominated every smartphone launch. The camera, more megapixels, better night mode, sharper zoom, smarter processing. Every new phone was sold on one simple idea: this takes better photos. And for a long time that worked. But now something has changed. Cameras are no longer the main selling point for phones, not because they don't matter, but because they've stopped being a real differentiator. And once you understand why, you start to see how the entire smartphone strategy is shifting. The first reason is simple: cameras are already good enough. For most people, modern smartphone cameras are more than capable. Photos are sharp, videos are high quality, low-light performance is strong. Even mid-range phones can produce images that look professional in everyday situations. So the gap between good and great has narrowed. And when that happens, improvements become harder to notice. Going from a bad camera to a good one is a big leap. But going from a great camera to a slightly better one, most people can't tell the difference. And if users can't feel the improvement, it stops being a reason to upgrade. The second reason is saturation. Every major smartphone brand now has excellent camera systems. Apple, Samsung, Google, Xiaomi. Everyone has invested heavily in this area. That means no single company owns the advantage anymore. The competition has caught up, so instead of one brand standing out, the entire market has leveled up. And when everyone is good, no one stands out. That's when companies start looking for new ways to differentiate. Another major shift is how people actually use photos. Most images today aren't printed, they're shared on social media, in messages, on platforms that compress and resize content, which means the difference between a slightly better camera often gets lost. A photo that looks incredible on a high-end display may look almost identical once it's uploaded. So from a user perspective, the benefit of upgrading for the camera becomes less meaningful. Because the final output doesn't change that much, there's also the role of software. A lot of what makes smartphone cameras better today isn't hardware, it's processing. AI enhancements, image correction, color tuning, and these improvements can often be delivered through updates, which means older phones can get better over time. So instead of needing a new device, users get incremental improvements through software. And that reduces the urgency to upgrade just for the camera. Another important factor is diminishing returns. Camera technology is reaching a point where improvements are smaller, more technical and less visible. Better dynamic range, slightly improved sensors, more advanced computational photography. These are meaningful advances, but they're not always obvious. And if the improvement isn't obvious, it's harder to sell. So companies are shifting their focus because they need a new reason for people to upgrade. And that's where the strategy changes. Instead of cameras, the focus is moving to experience. Battery life, performance, AI features, ecosystem integration. Devices are no longer being sold as just tools. They're being sold as systems. How well your phone connects to your watch, your earbuds, your laptop, your car, your apps, your daily life. That's becoming more important than just how good the camera is. AI is also playing a big role in this shift. Instead of just capturing better photos, phones are starting to do more with them. Editing automatically, enhancing content, generating images, organizing memories. The focus is moving from capture to creation, and that changes what matters. Because once AI can improve or even generate images, the hardware becomes less critical. The value shifts to what the phone can do after the photo is taken. There's also a behavioral shift happening. People are upgrading phones less frequently. Instead of every year, it's every 3 to 5 years, or even longer. And when someone upgrades after several years, the camera improvement is obvious anyway. So companies don't need to rely on yearly camera upgrades to drive sales. They can focus on broader improvements. Another reason cameras are losing their central role is cost. High-end camera systems are expensive to develop. Multiple lenses, advanced sensors, complex processing, and at some point the cost outweighs the benefit, especially if users aren't upgrading because of it. So companies are reallocating resources, investing in areas that drive more engagement and long-term value, like AI, like services, like ecosystem features. But here's the key point. Cameras aren't becoming unimportant. They're becoming expected. They've moved from a wow feature to a baseline, just like screens, Just like performance, just like connectivity, you don't buy a phone because it has a screen. You expect it to have a good one. The same thing is happening with cameras. They're no longer the reason you buy a phone, they're just part of what a good phone should have. And that's a big shift, because once a feature becomes standard, it stops driving decisions, and companies have to find new ways to stand out. So the real story isn't that cameras are declining, it's that they've already won. They've reached a level where they're no longer the battleground. And the competition has moved on to AI, to ecosystems, to experiences, to whatever defines the next phase of smartphones. Because in today's market, taking a great photo isn't enough anymore. The real question is, what can your phone do beyond the camera? And that's where the future is being decided.